Shaymen Legends. So why don't we get on somebody who used to play for the club and is currently playing for Huddersfield Town? I'm joined by Matty Pearson. So Matt, to start things off, how are you?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. We've got Stoke tomorrow, so just got to Stoke and had some food and that, and just come to his room now. So I'm all good, mate. Ready for tomorrow.
Good. Preparing for tomorrow's game, I would guess anyway. So Matt, to kick things off, so Matt, born in Keighley, how did you get into football in the first place? How have you got into football as a child?
So when I was 5 years old, my dad just took me to local team, played with them, and then ever since then played a year above myself. And it's from when I was 10 years old, went to Blackburn Rovers, which isn't too far. It's about an hour away. And from there went all the way to 18, and from there kicked on and played senior football after 18, 19 year old.
So was you a centre half or midfielder when you were a child?
Yeah, so I was centre back and then right back a bit, and then as I got older, I ended up playing centre midfield. That at Halifax, that's where I played centre midfield most of my time. And as I left Halifax, I went back to being a right back, and now I'm a centre back. Last 4 or 5 years, I've been last probably 6 years being a defender.
A lot of change of positions, aren't you? Obviously, you were at Luton and you just got your big move to Huddersfield. So moving on to a little bit about Halifax now. So about Halifax now, you first came on loan from Rochdale, but what was it like about that loan spell that made you decide to join permanently? What was it? What was convenient for you? Was it obviously being from West Yorkshire? Obviously, you're from West Yorkshire.
Yeah, Rochdale's not too far. Just the fact that I come to Halifax, I played, we got promoted that season, really liked it, and you go to where you enjoy your football, and at the time that was where I wanted to go and wanted to enjoy my football and play football.
Talk us through that promotion season then, when obviously you were with Halifax.
Yeah, I come on loan literally January, I think it was January or February, and I caught like the last 10, 15 games were like a big backlog of games, so they were playing like Thursday, Saturday, which is a lot of games, and we ended up getting in the playoffs, and we got promoted through the playoffs, beating guys. Yeah, it was. I was young at the time, so I didn't fully enjoy it as much as I should have done for being a young.
Obviously, many players from Halifax have gone on to play in the Football League like yourself. But why do you think that is? Why do you think so many players who started at Halifax have been able to make it into the Football League now?
I think we had a good team. We had Lee Gregory, one of the strikers in the league at the time. Mike Roberts is at Birmingham now.
Yeah.
And myself, a couple of others that have all gone and done really well. And I think we had a few experienced players like Matty Glennon, the goalkeeper, a few, and we had a really good team. And I think once you know you've got a good team, there's always chance of people moving on and playing for the league.
Like you said, then just plenty of great players. There's Gregory's obviously at Sheffield Wednesday now. I think he scored the other week as well, and then you've actually scored, haven't you, twice already for Huddersfield. You scored, I think it was 6 goals for Halifax. I was going to ask this later on in the question, but would you rather get clean sheets or would you rather get a goal?
I'd rather win.
Yeah.
No, obviously keeping a clean sheet, that means they don't win. So that's obviously the priority, but it's always nice to get a goal. But my main aim's to win games.
Yeah. Obviously, Huddersfield have obviously started well, and you did well with Halifax. So you've won quite a few games in your career. So what was it like working under Neil Aspin then?
Yeah, he was a very tough manager. He didn't stand for any.
Yeah.
He was very hard on everyone, and he was a good manager. He told you exactly how it was, and I enjoyed it. That's exactly how I need to be, and straight to the point. And it well for me in my younger years, and stood me in good stead.
Up until you left, there were plenty of glory, weren't they? Obviously, before you joined, we were getting promoted through the leagues, and then you joined, and then we got promoted to the Vanarama National League. And this is the thing about Halifax, it's been, since obviously we folded in 2007, we've come back and we've brought in players like yourself and Gregory, and it's been going really well, and hopefully someday can make it back into the Football League. So talk us through your debut, coming on loan. You beat Worcester 5-0. Can you remember that game, if there are any memories?
Who were the team? Worcestershire?
Well, Worcester.
Is
5,
it?
I think 5.
I can remember coming on. I don't think I started that game. That was like my first game. I come on as a sub. I can remember coming on 5, and then I think I got my chance because Liam Morgan got injured around the time, and to play, I actually started a few games at centre back, and then during my time there, Liam got back fit, and I went into midfield, and that's how I become a midfielder.
What would you say your relationship was like with the fans then at Halifax?
No, I enjoyed it. I think I remember playing Brackley in the final of the playoffs, and we scored 1-0, and near the end of the game, we got promoted that game. I can remember the pitch invasion, and that's what made me sign. 2 years there, and it stood me well, and the fans were brilliant.
We've heard from a couple of other people, like Jonathan Hedry brought on. He said that he played for England C. What's it like playing for England C? He said it were a bit of luxury. You got brought in a black car, a posh car. What was that like? Because obviously you made a few appearances for England C.
Yeah, exactly what you just said. Got picked up, got treated really well. We were playing part-time at Halifax at the time, so you were going there like a professional footballer. All really nice, playing against these like under 23 teams, and they were really good players. It was tough. There were some tough games, and we got really well, and it was a good experience.
Moving on now. Obviously, in the couple of coaches now at Huddersfield, are you new from Halifax?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Danny Schofield, he's with the. He come from Rotherham, or I'm not too sure where. Halifax from Rotherham, I think it was, and there's John Worthington, Matty Glennon's on the radio, obviously. So obviously they're all coaching now, and I'm still playing.
Did that sort of like attract you to the club then when you joined?
Yeah, I spoke to Danny Schofield, and he told me what's what, and that's how it goes, really.
Yeah. You've come a long way since you first joined the Shaymen, but what do you think that's because of? Joining Halifax in the first place, do you think you would be in the same position now if you didn't join Halifax?
No, I think playing for Halifax were good for me. I think I joined when I was 19, 20 years old. And to play games regular at that age is something not doesn't happen very often. I played 100 games by the time I was 21, which is senior games, which is not many people do that nowadays. I was lucky to obviously play for them.
Obviously, after Halifax, why did you leave Halifax in the end? Then obviously you went on to play for Accrington Stanley.
I just become a point where Halifax hadn't offered me something. I think the manager were thinking about certain things. In my opinion, if you're going to have someone, you get them straight away. So I decided, obviously, to move on and try my luck elsewhere, and that's what I did, and that's what made me move to Accrington.
I think wasn't there a change of management at the end as well when you left Halifax, or was Neil Aspin still there?
Neil Aspin was still there, but it were a case of it wasn't offered anybody anything. So it wasn't just a case of, I think it was just a certain time at the club, and I if they wanted me, they should have started it out earlier, and it'd come to a point where I felt like it was my time to move and go elsewhere.
I've just come on really good now. If we move on to a couple of quick fire questions, just some quick questions before we move on to some of the fans' questions. So, First question: best mate at the club when you were at Halifax?
Halifax.
Yeah.
I got on with Matty Glennon quite well. 10 years older than me. No, we had a good group.
Yeah.
We had a group. With Danny Lowe, obviously the captain. He one of the main figures. We had Lois Maynard.
Yeah.
He were and Paul Marshall. We all got on really. It were
really good squad, and obviously loads of positive times as well. What's your best achievement as a footballer?
Probably winning League One. With Luton.
Yeah.
Signed for Luton, and in the first season we got promoted straight to the Championship, and I'm playing Championship football, making my debut Championship football. I never thought I'd get to that level, and I managed to.
Do you think there's a chance you might even be playing in the Premier League someday with Huddersfield or with another club?
Just got to take it as it comes. I think you can never say never, but that's my aim to get there.
Yeah.
Whether I'm just going to try and give it everything and see where we get to.
Okay, moving on now. Best player you've ever faced against at any club?
Any club. One game I remember playing against at Duncan Watmore. I'm not. I think he's at Middlesbrough now, yeah. And he was at Altrincham v Halifax, and I can remember Altrincham won about 5-3 or something like that, and he was unbelievable. He run riot.
What's your best memory playing for Halifax?
Probably the promotion from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Brackley with the fans coming on the pitch.
Were there any regrets at Halifax?
I wanted to stay. I don't regret leaving. Not so much. It was just a case of I wanted to stay, but things happen and change.
What's your pre-match meal?
I've just had pasta, chicken, and some tomato sauce. Like not tomato sauce, like a chicken pasta with sauce. That's what I've had tonight, and then tomorrow we'll probably have porridge, mainly porridge. I eat a lot of porridge before games.
Set for a great performance, hopefully tomorrow against Stoke. Now, moving on, what song gets you buzzed up for a match?
A few of the lads have tunes on now, and I don't even, and they're quite good. But I like the Sweet Caroline. Do you know that they played before? But that sets it off. But we don't have a change room. They have.
Moving on to a few of the fans' questions now. Some of the fans, if anyone in the comments wants to put one on, you can put one. If you're a Huddersfield fan or Halifax fan, it doesn't really matter. So, first question I've got on my notes here. Favourite game playing for Halifax?
I've mentioned it before. Probably that Brackley game.
Yeah.
Winning promotion to the National League.
Could you see yourself returning to the club that gave you the stepping stone into the league one day?
Be nice. At the minute, I don't think really.
No.
Too far ahead. I'm looking forward to this season, and
I
say never. It's obviously Halifax. They're close, aren't they? And it's where I started my men's football.
Yeah. What are your aspirations for Huddersfield this season?
We've started well. I think it could be a case of not getting too carried away at this moment and get going. And I'd like to obviously push on top half and see where we go.
Moving on now, what were your times like at Luton and Barnsley?
Barnsley, I was only there a short time. I'd moved from Accrington.
Yeah.
it was tough because it were obviously 2 leagues above where I was. Yeah, it was a tough game, tough moving there, and I was in and out of the team, and then changed and I didn't play for 3 months. That was a tough time in my career, but then moved to Luton, were perfect. Went and played every game, got promoted. So yeah, I'd say Barnsley not so good, but Luton loved it. Played a lot of games and done really well.
Do you remember the screamer you scored for Halifax?
I didn't score that many, so yeah.
I can get it on the screen now. I've got it up here if you would like to watch it. I'll add it here. I'll show you the goal that came on.
Maitland here, looking for Gregory. Finds Gregory, gives it to Crowther. Radcraft here on the left-hand side. Back to Gregory. Lee Gregory with a shot. It's deflected by Matty Pearson. 1-0 Halifax. Matty Pearson with the goal.
Good goal, that. You don't get many better.
Probably the best goal I've ever scored, that.
Talk us through that goal then.
Can't even remember who was it against, does it say?
I think it was Gateshead, I think, when they 1-1 draw. I've got some Halifax statistician in. If he could put something in the comments, it'd be good. Talk us through that goal then.
Yeah, it's probably the best goal I've ever best goal I've scored. But yeah, I just I can't really remember it, to be honest. It was probably 10 years ago.
Okay, moving on now. What made you celebrate by jumping over the perimeter fence in the away end when you were at Halifax?
When was that?
I don't know. It was just a question that a fan put. Apparently, he jumped over the perimeter fence and jumped into the away end.
Can't remember that. What game was that?
I don't even know. It was just a question. Moving on now then. This is the final question and probably one of the most difficult questions. Can you name all the clubs you've played for in order?
Starting from my youth.
Yeah.
So Blackburn Rovers. Rochdale. Halifax. Accrington. Is that right?
Yeah, that Halifax, then Accrington. Yeah, that's right.
So then I went from Accrington to Barnsley. Then I went to Luton, and now I'm here at Huddersfield.
I think you've got that all correct. Only one person's failed that so far. The 9 people that have done it, so you've passed the test. Once again, huge thank you for coming on. I think that more or less wraps it up. Good luck tomorrow with Huddersfield against Stoke. Hopefully, for the Huddersfield fans watching, you can get the win.
Yep. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, mate.